And this is being recorded. Tanya had asked for that in case some folks need to rewatch it, or maybe some folks are not here right now. So it is being recorded. And with that, Lisette, I'll pass over to you unless Jeremy, you have anything to say?
Yeah, could I just add a few words? So good morning, everybody. Those I haven't met yet, I'm Jeremy Aldridge, the Director of Teaching and Learning and also the Dual Language Coordinator for Harrisonburg. It's good to see some familiar faces and some new faces here today. A few housekeeping details. First of all, attendance. I do not have a QR code to share with you, but we'll do attendance manually, so you don't have to worry about attendance. Second, I'm going to put some things in the chat box that are important for today's discussions. One is a link to how to log into Clever. Tanya Butler shared this by email yesterday, but for those who haven't received it yet, I'll put the file in the chat box. Clever is where you'll log in to get to your Maravillas and Reading Wonders resources, and it'll automatically roster your classes. And they'll even have our division pacing guide integrated with the calendar there, so it will be very easy for you to use. And then the third thing is I'll be putting a link to our division curriculum guides. And we're really working hard in the Office of Teaching and Learning to make sure that our curriculum guides are considerate of our dual language population. It's no longer just a niche program, but it's really serving a large percentage of our students. And so across language arts, content, and math, we're trying to make sure that what is expected and what's available for dual language is very clear. So again, I'll be available to help with questions throughout the day, but really glad you're here. I've been a part of the previous 2 workshops and have learned a lot. I think that you'll enjoy this, and the depth of materials that we have through Reading Wonders and Maravillas is really impressive. Thanks.
Well, thank you, Jeremy. I think you're going to be tired of me by this 3rd session. So we're going to get started. Welcome, bienvenidos a Maravillas. Super excited to be here with you this afternoon as you guys launch this implementation of this dual language between Wonders and Maravillas. And you're going to see how they're beautifully and seamlessly connected instruction. And what those differentiators are, without a doubt, I will point those out as we move along. That being said, again, my name is Lisette Reed. I am a curriculum specialist with McGraw-Hill, a former educator with Miami-Dade County Public Schools for 25 years before I came to McGraw-Hill about 5 years ago. So my passion without a doubt resides and lies in education. I've dedicated my entire life to it. And of course, coming from Miami-Dade County, we have a little population, right, of bilingual students. So had the opportunity to see Maravillas in action from that original copyright, from a teacher point of view, as well as from a district point of view. So squeeze me for information. I don't want you to leave this session today with any wonderings or any concerns. If you have a question, probably everybody else does. So be that person, right? We're going to start here. We're going to start with your teacher's editions. Comfort level as far as the languages are concerned. So I did a little bit of everything today. I did my first session with KN1, pretty much was all in Spanish. I did the 2-3 session and I did Spanglish, right? I did a little bit of Spanish, a little bit of English. Comfort zone for you guys. What is your language of preference? English, Spanish, or Spanglish? Put that in the chat box now. I like Morin. Cualquiera, lo que sea, just tell me. Great. That's my comfort zone, Spanglish, without a doubt. All right. I think for the most part, we're either the English or the Spanglish. I saw a couple of Spanish ones there, and I will do my best, right, to give everybody a little flavor of what they're looking for. So I'm gonna do the Spanglish approach, and then we'll see how we go from there. So La Guía de Maestro, your teacher guides, you're seeing it here, is kind of where we're gonna start. Even if you've utilized Maravillas in previous copyrights, you're gonna see that the La Guía de Maestro has been revamped to go along with the new instruction. So for the first time in the copyright for both Wonders and Maravillas, we've gone from a 1-week instructional block to 2 semanas de instrucción with that text set that's going to encompass those 2 weeks of instruction. So a lot of news with this 2020. Here's the unit structure o la estructura de las unidades en Maravillas. 6 unidades de segundo a quinto grado. Within each of those unidades, you're going to have 6 semanas de instrucción. All right? 6 units, 6 weeks of instruction per unit. In a minute, I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about something called un buen comienzo, or a start smart to your year. And that instruction is going to be embedded in your Unit 1, Week 1 instruction. Okay, so un buen comienzo is going to be part of that Unit 1. Again, 6 units, 6 weeks of instruction per unit. How do those 6 weeks break down? So, de semana 1 a la semana 5. Toda la nueva instrucción. So all of your new instruction is going to happen weeks 1 through 5. What happens during week 6? Well, week 6, we have embedded opportunities for review, extend, and assess. So para repasar, para ampliar el aprendizaje y para la oportunidad de evaluar los estudiantes en ese aprendizaje. So the great thing about it is that all of this is already built in and curated for you. In a minute, I'm going to be talking to you a lot about something called Mi Libro de Lectura y Escritura. In there, you're going to find all of those opportunities to review, to extend, and to assess the learning from those 5 weeks. Do we have additional evaluations? Absolutely. You'll have a progress monitoring piece. You'll have running records. You'll have placement and diagnostic. But in light of this week 6, where this is the kind of the focus for that week 6, all of this has already been built into that reading, writing companion, or Mi Libro de Lectura y Escritura. During that first week of school, during that Start Smart week that we call Un Buen Comienzo, what is this all about? So remember, you're going to be approaching your Unit 1, Week 1 instruction, okay? But what else are you going to be doing during that first week? Well, social emotional skill development is another new feature to Wonders 2020. Even at the intermediate grade levels, there's going to be a focused social emotional skill that's tied around the content. So whatever the content is about, whatever the stories the students are going to be reading, there's going to be a correlation to a social emotional skill. Really giving students an opportunity to engage in that pro-social behavior. So we're going to kind of highlight that, expound upon that, feature that during Start Smart, and then you're going to be doing it for the rest of the school year. What else are you going to be doing during Start Smart? In Maravillas, there's also going to be opportunities to establish good habits of learning. That's going to come through a I statement. In a minute, I'm going to show you a little bit more how this is going to look like. So Maravillas understands and develops those critical habits of learning with students to ensure that they're going to be successful not only in school, but throughout life. Instructional routines, rutinas de instrucción, super duper, como dicen my niños, importante, right? Rutinas de instrucción. So at every juncture, at every point of instruction, there are going to be very specific instructional routines that you're going to utilize to really create that consistency in instruction. Collaborative conversations, vocabulary, close reading, analytical writing, all of those things are going to have clear and concise instructional routines that you're going to highlight, teach, familiarize yourself and the students with, and then you're going to continue utilizing those instructional routines throughout the year. Classroom culture, right? Establishing a positive classroom culture to give the students that safe zone, right? So they can talk, communicate, right? And feel that they're respected, their opinions are going to be respected, what they have to say. So in Maravillas, those are going to come through we statements. And in a minute, I'm going to show you what that looks like. So you'll have we statements and you'll have I statements at a unit basis. So cada unidad va a tener esos statements que lo va a dejar ustedes proveer, desarrollar, ¿no? Those good habits of learning and that positive classroom culture. Here you're going to see in a minute, let me move this over. this is your spread. This is going to be your spread in your teacher edition to kind of highlight for you those things. And you're also going to see in your teacher edition pages that are dedicated to that highlighting that I'm telling you. We're going to pull it out and kind of showcase for you where is this found and how you're going to approach all of these different features in Maravillas. So like I said, social emotional learning, and here's some examples of some social emotional skills that you're going to be approaching: curiosity, creativity, initiative. The great thing about it is that it's wrapped around content. So the text and the characters that they're reading about will also be exemplifying these social emotional skills. We're going to establish the importance of social emotional development skills, but we're also going to let you know how Maravilla addresses those social emotional learning. So 2 ways, right? First, that SEL still connects to the content at each genre study. In a minute, I'm going to tell you what this genre study thing is all about. So each genre study is going to have a concept. It's going to have an essential question. Students are going to be able to talk and collaborate and work independently in those key elements as they're learning through those meaningful opportunities for them to develop those social emotional skills. So during Start Smart, it's for you to kind of get familiarized with this. Classroom culture, remember I told you it was going to come through a we statement? Here are the we statements, right? So at the beginning of each unit, we're going to have a we statement that we're going to establish that focus for that classroom, that classroom culture. We're going to share it with the classroom, and then at several points during that unit, we're going to refer back to this we statement. Of course, we're not in a print environment now, so we can't post it, but if we were, eventually we are, I think, we're going to be face-to-face, right? We're going to be able to post these we statements, these I statements for you guys to be able to refer to visually throughout this entire unit. What else is happening here? Habits of learning. Remember, it's going to go through a I statement. So you're going to have that I statement. We're going to set that goal for your students to acquire those good habits of learning. And those are going to have, each unit is going to have a focus on a positive habit of learning. So again, we're going to be able to post those once we're face-to-face, and then we're going to be able to refer to those throughout the unit as we guide you through the unit and the genre study. Rutinas de instrucción. I can't even emphasize how important this is. And let me tell you what another great thing about these rutinas de instrucción are. The same rutinas that you see in Wonders, you're going to see in Maravillas. So if that counterpart teacher, that dual language teacher that's teaching Wonders has already established effective collaborative conversations, guess what? You're halfway there. So that is the power in this dual instruction. The power in this tandem instruction is that the students are going to get it in Wonders, and then they're going to get it in Maravillas. There's not going to be a disconnect in instructional routines, in vocabulary, in concept, in pregunta esencial. They're going to be the same in Wonders as it is in Maravillas. So think about it. If you have a student that's coming already literate in Spanish, granted, when they get Maravillas, they're going to be right there, right? And then what they're doing in Maravillas is going to help what they do in Wonders. And if you flip it, right, if you have a student that is more literate in Spanish, what they're getting in Maravillas is going to help them in Wonders and vice versa. So you're going to see this total connection between the Spanish and the English. And one of the cornerstones to that tandem and dual instruction are these instructional routines that are the same in Wonders as they are in Maravillas. So we added an additional piece to that instructional routines handbook. That is what the Wonders teachers use. We added un apéndices just for you guys, the Maravillas teachers, because y'all, we know that teaching Spanish, reading Spanish is not the same as teaching English, right? And Spanish is all about sílabas, mimi, mamo, mo. Well, I ain't gonna work with English because we teach onset and rhyme. So here we've added an additional appendix. This appendix is going to help you as Maravillas teachers approach those skills that are not transferable from English to Spanish and vice versa. This appendix will give you a how-to guide on how to best facilitate those instructional routines. And we've also embedded in your professional learning environment modeled classroom videos, because we all know pictures are worth 1,000 words, but a video is worth 1,000,000 words, right? How is this going to go down with my kids? So you're going to have it there to kind of refer to. A lot of these videos obviously are focused on phonética because that's where the rubber hits the road, right? That is where the difference, the biggest difference is going to come in. So you'll be able to see teachers with students on the carpet showcasing and showing you these lessons being administered, being facilitated with students. COVID came and we couldn't finish them all with real kids. So you'll see that some of those I do, and we're gonna pretend there were some kids sitting on the carpet in my guest room. So structure here of your units. So remember, I was kind of talking about genre study and you're like, what? Well, 6 weeks, right? So the 6 weeks are gonna be separated in the following way. Week 1 and 2 is gonna be your genre study 1. Week 1, 2, genre study 1, and there's gonna be a text set that the students will be utilizing during that one genre study. Genre study 2 will be weeks 3 and 4. Remember, the units have ¿cuántas semanas? 6 semanas, solo faltan un poquito más, right? We got semana 1 y 2, tenemos semana 3 y 4. Pues semana 5 va a ser un instructional block un poco más corto. En vez de 2 semanas, 1 semana de instrucción. Claro, no van a tener tantos textos que van a tener que leer, pero también tienen un enfoque en el género, because that's what this is all about, right? Los géneros aquí, en Genre Study 1, expositivo, drama y después la poesía. Ya ven que cada género o cada estudio de género tiene un enfoque. La semana 5, un enfoque más chiquito, y va a tener el enfoque on a literary element. Aquí vamos para la semana 6. Remember, it's your review week. So you've done all this new teaching, weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Come week 6, it's time to see if your ducks were really following you, right? Review, extend, and assess. Built in as a wrap up for that unit, all of that is going to be built into that Mi Libro de Lectura y Escritura. All of those review, extension, and assess opportunities are already there for you to toggle into. There are some review pages in your TE. These are new layout pages. One of them being weekly overviews of student outcome. So we want to know at the beginning of the week, hey, what are the skills that I'm going to be addressing during these 2 weeks of instruction? Or this is week by week. So we're going to let you know what those skills are, but we're also going to let you know what are, of all of those, what are the ones that are actually going to get assessed in the Maravillas assessment at the end of those 2 weeks. We've put a check mark on those for you. So you're kind of planning with the end in mind, right? What are the ones that I really need to ensure that my students or most of my students are mastering by the end of those 2 weeks? We're gonna put a check mark on there for you. We're gonna help you out. You're also gonna have a overview page for your literature. You'll have an overview page for your writing, with the understanding, right, that you guys are kind of sharing your time between Wonders and Maravillas. So without a doubt, there are certain things in Maravillas that you're gonna see. I'm gonna assume the genre study, which is, the writing process, which is an extended piece of writing that goes along for 4 weeks. That's probably something you guys aren't gonna get to, but I'm not gonna delve into that so much, because with the understanding that you guys are sharing your time and there's a lot of things that you're not gonna get to in Maravillas. So what I tried to do is I try to focus on things that, number one, Susan and I had a conversation that you guys are really gonna focus on as intermediate level teachers. It's gonna be more of the coding and the comprehension. Digital. Fortunately or unfortunately, we are living in this digital and virtual environment, right? And for the most part, not only Harrisonburg, but pretty much the whole nation is going back virtually for a little bit. So rest assured that you have a teacher dashboard that houses everything that you're gonna need to be able to teach digitally. The students are gonna have a student dashboard that they will be able to access all of the resources from that lesson in a digital environment at home. There is a mobile app. So if internet is an issue, the students download that app while they have internet connection. And then when they don't, it works like an app, just like on your phone. Google Classroom's compatible, and I'll show you how you push things out very easily. And then the app could be downloaded from your app store, Amazon, or whatever you guys use. So rest assured, all of this has been thought through, and you're not going to have an issue teaching Wonders todo en print, todo imprimido, o todo digital, o un hybrid. Un poquito de por aquí y un poquito de por allá. When you get back into face-to-face, that's probably going to be where you're going to reside. But for right now, virtual environment, we got you there. So teaching and planning, you will have a pre-made, customizable daily presentation that houses all of the digital assets that you're going to need to teach that lesson that day. So whether you're Teams, whether you're Zoom, right? You set up that meeting, the kids log on, and they're going to do exactly what I'm going to show you when we go digital. You're going to launch that e-presentation, and everything that you need, the videos, the games, the books, right? Mi libro de lectura y escritura, all digitized. You could teach from it, and then the students also have it on their portal. Customizable lesson plans. So los planes de enseñanza ya están ahí. You guys want to modify it a little bit, add, delete to it, you got it. What is that going to do? It's going to modify your e-presentation. So if you remove something from your digital lesson plans, it's going to remove the digital asset that goes along with that out of your presentation. Standards at point of use, objectives at point of use digitally. You will also have your printable resources o los archivos para imprimir semanalmente. So those practice, el cuaderno de práctica, ¿no? Lo tienen imprimido, pero también lo tienen in digitally available to you for you guys to use and to modify. Customizable parent letters, as well as games that you could assign. Now, there's going to be games that are going to be automatically delivered to that student dashboard because it goes along with your instruction for that week. But if you decide that you want anything else, something for the students to review or to have access for a lengthier period of time versus just those 2 weeks, you could assign anything to the students on the dashboard and they'll have access to it. All of your assessments have been digitized. You have an online assessment center that you can edit your assessments, you could push out your assessments, and your students could take it digitally. If they do, they get poured into something called a data dashboard, which I'll show you in a minute. So it will grade it and you'll have real-time data with the results of those assessments. All right. Ya he hablado mucho y tengo que tomar un poco de agua. So aquí voy a parar y me van a decir, ¿tienen preguntas, questions, wonderings, anything at this point? We're a fairly small group, so feel more than welcome to unmute yourself. And if you have any clarifications or any questions of anything we've discussed so far, I'll be happy to talk through that with you. And the next step is going to be an instructional walkthrough of what that looks like in Maravillas. So drink water time for a sec. Bueno, entonces vamos a tomar el termómetro o la temperatura, como yo digo, de otra manera. Give me a yes if you are ready to rock and roll. ¡Qué bien! Estudiantes superdotados. Very good. Veo que la mayoría están ready y la otra parte no ha encontrado todavía el dedito para arriba. All right. Pues seguimos. Vamos a seguir aquí con this instructional walkthrough. So I'm going to kind of showcase for you what it would look like, what the genre study would look like. I am showcasing a 4th grade lesson, so you kind of see what it looks like. So shared reading. So una shared reading o una lectura compartida is the first thing that we're going to do. There are going to be multiple readings that the students are going to do through various pieces of text throughout this genre study. Whatever it is that the students are going to get ready to read, they're going to follow this rutina instruccional. ¿Cuál es la rutina? La rutina de leer atentamente, or that close reading routine. Quiere decir que cada vez que los estudiantes leen un texto, la primera vez que leen el texto es para un entendimiento literal or superficial, right? Little understanding of that text. The second time that the students read the text, multiple, right? Purposeful rereadings, and not rereading of the whole thing, certain portions of the text, it's going to be for how the author said it, right? Author's craft, the features that the author used, the craft that the author used in order to get a deeper understanding of that text. And then ultimately the students are going to be integrating. They're going to be applying new ideas and new knowledge to something new, and that's going to be a piece of multimedia. And my dog is having an attack and she wants to bark at the UPS guy because of course, why not? So you're going to see at shared reading, anchor text, leveled readers, whenever the students are accessing text, we're going to take them through this instructional routine called the close reading routine. And fear not, again, everything has been curated for you and everything is right there at point of use. So vamos a empezar aquí. This is the most important component of what, and the component that you're going to be utilizing the most with your students. Se llama mi libro de lectura y escritura. Your reading, writing companion. Aquí van a tener oportunidad con el texto que está puesto ya aquí en este libro de lectura y escritura para poder enseñar y modelar las destrezas que los estudiantes van a necesitar para comprender el texto. So you're going to see it's built in. It is total integration of reading and writing. So even if you don't get to the extended process writing, built-in analytical writing. So the students along the way will be writing about what they're reading. Consumable for the life of the adoption. What does that mean? That means that every year, Valerie's gonna make sure that you guys get a brand new shipment of el libro de lectura y escritura. So we really, really want you to utilize this as it was created for interaction, for annotation, right, of the text, so that students really are empowered to read with the pencil at hand. Vamos a empezar aquí. Aquí es donde empezamos con esta lección, right? La lección empieza, pues, vamos a comentar, vamos a tener una conversación sobre esta pregunta esencial, que es la pregunta, ¿qué ayuda a un animal a sostener, oh, now I'm stuck. Sustain itself, right? Substener. ¿Qué son qué los ayuda, no? Pues ante que los estudiantes tengan esa conversación sobre qué los ayuda a substenerse, vamos a tener oportunidad que los estudiantes miren un video que es all around the concept o el concepto semanal, that weekly concept around adaptations. So let's take a listen.
Adaptaciones. ¿Qué ayuda a un animal a subsistir?
Oops, sorry. Let's try to get that away.
Entre las muchas adaptaciones de un animal está poder camuflarse en su hábitat para sobrevivir. ¿Puedes ver el búho? Subsistir en el desierto es difícil. El camello tiene una joroba donde almacena grasa y puede llegar a pesar 80 libras. Esta permite que el camello subsista hasta 2 semanas sin comer. El armadillo tiene un hocico largo y garras filosas para cavar la tierra en busca de alimento, hormigas. El caparazón de la tortuga, ¿no te parece el mejor refugio del mundo?
Pues a mí sí me parece, ¿no? El carapacho ese me va a dar mucho resguardo, ¿no? Contra las cosas que me pueden tener peligros. Pero antes de tener esa conversación, que para comentarlo sobre la pregunta esencial, vamos a mirar este video. It's going to give them a lot of vocabulary, right? A lot of background for them to start having that conversation. The next thing that they're going to see in that libro de lectura y escritura is going to be a concept web. Now they have a little background. They have a little vocabulary, right? To do this concept web, you could do it with the entire class, individual, built in, not only in the reading, in el libro de lectura y escritura that you're getting imprimido, pero digitalmente también tienen la oportunidad para subrayar, para llenar this concept web, because I don't know how to say concept web in Spanish. El alineamiento a los estándares. El alineamiento va a venir o ciencias sociales. Aquí te va a decir, en este caso, de este género, or this genre study is going to be science. Aquí es lo que tenemos, la lectura compartida. Aquí ven que la lectura compartida, o the shared read, is built in and is printed in these reading, writing companions, or la lectura, mi libro de lectura y escritura. Aquí ven que it's not just a book that is a consumable book that has the printed story or the text. Number one, a couple of things. This text is short, but it's complex in nature. It has all the high-level vocabulary, and all thinking opportunities are embedded because of the complexity of the text. But we're not going to leave the kids high and dry. Remember I talked to you about the leer y releer? Well, take a look at the side margins, right? You're seeing that routine built in. So the first time that the students are reading it, what are we doing? Well, I'm going to show you. Here they are in the side margin. Those activities are built in. So when they're reading it for the first time, what are they doing? They're looking at fotos y leyendas. Están subrayando los detalles del texto que sostienen la información de la foto y la leyenda. Profijos, we want them to notice prefixes. Resumir, right? Encabezado, how are those headings kind of helping me understand what's going to happen in that paragraph? Idea principal de cada párrafo, cuáles son las ideas principales, cuáles son los detalles. Y hacer inferencia. So this is like what I'm doing the first time they take a read, right? What's happening the second time? Cuando están releyendo porciones de ese texto, what are we doing? We're doing it for the craft, o lo que ellos le dicen, la técnica que usó el autor para ayudarme a entender ese texto un poquito más. So here you're seeing the technique, here you're seeing the craft, whether it was vocabulary, whether it's compare and contrast, as you see there. He demonstrates how one adaptation helps an animal but hurts another one. Here he's talking about how he used photographs and captionings to help me understand the adaptations that animal had. So here you're seeing focused and deeper refocus of that text for the students to get that deeper understanding of the text. This is not a workbook. You have a workbook. This is guided instruction. This is the close reading routine embedded within a short piece of complex text to allow the students to better understand that text. Vocabulario, muy importante, ¿verdad? Pero notice que vocabulario comes after la leer. Ahora es el vocabulario, lo van a ver en la parte del releer. ¿Por qué? We're not going to front load vocabulary for students. We're going to allow the students to encounter that vocabulary within context, mitigate, then they could grapple with that text in order to uncover the meaning of unknown words. Are we going to come and shore up that vocabulary instruction? Absolutely. You see it here, right? So the vocabulary instruction is going to come through the define, example, ask routine. ¿Cuál es la rutina? Definir, hacer la definición, darme un ejemplo, pregúntame, hazme una pregunta, right? It's already structured here for you like that. But you're saying, Lisette, ¿a dónde está la definición? Porque yo no la veo aquí en la página del estudiante, ¿no? Las definiciones, con permiso, existen en la guía de maestro. So under your vocabulary page of palabras en contexto, you're going to have that definition of those words, right? The point here that enduring knowledge and vocabulary acquisition happens when students encounter that vocabulary in multiple scenarios. Guess what? Shared read, anchor text, leveled readers, all of the pieces of text that the students are going to be reading during this genre study in this text set will have that vocabulary in common. So they're going to see it through different types of genre. They'll be able to encounter this vocabulary and really ascertain a good understanding of what that vocabulary looks like. Profijos, you saw that. We were asking the students to do that during the first read. Underline, right? All of the profijos that they find in, re, super. Aquí, you have a little bit more of a lesson to be a little bit more targeted with that vocabulary strategy of prefixes. Pues, ¿qué más encuentran en mi libro de lectura y escritura? Va a encontrar 3 mini lecciones. Las 3 mini lecciones son una de estrategia de comprensión, or your comprehension strategy. For us, in this one that I'm showing you, is resumir, right? So summarizing as you read along is a good comprehension strategy that good comprehenders of text do automatically. So we're gonna make sure we're gonna be very purposeful in explaining that to the students. The other type of mini lesson that you're gonna see is either a literary element or a text feature. Because this is an expository text, it's gonna be elementos del texto. In this case, we're focusing on fotos, leyendas, y encabezas. So photographs, captions, and headings. All of those things, all of those text features also allow us to understand that text a little better. The third mini lesson that you're gonna find in el libro de lectura y escritura is a comprehension skill lesson, una destreza de comprensión. In this example that I'm kind of walking you through, the comprehension skill lesson is main idea and key details, right? Idea principal y detalles clave. All 3 mini lessons are constructed in the gradual release of responsibility. You, not I do, I should say you do, but it's confusing, but I do is you as a teacher. You as the teacher are going to explain to the students que la idea principal es el punto más importante que el autor presenta en ese texto. Entonces tienen después detalles clave que le dan sustancia, ¿no? Sustancia a esa idea principal. So you're having your main idea and then those key details that support that main idea. So you're going to do that explanation. And then the we do is the kids together. Now you're going to use this pre-filled graphic organizer to continue to teach and model this comprehension skill. Y'all, what's a skill? That's one of your standards, right? Main idea and key details. So you're going to use this to kind of guide the students, teach and model from. I don't know about you, but I gave a lot of graphic organizers in my time. And with that instruction, I know what I got back, right? They copied random stuff off the text. Hey, the boxes were filled, right? Not necessarily without what I was looking for. So here is the opportunity to teach and model from pre-filled graphic organizers so the students get a good understanding of what are the key details that are going to lead me to that main idea. Then it's going to be their turn, right? So you do, or tu turno. What am I going to ask the students to do? Now they're going to go back to another section of that that animal adaptation, that piece that was in el libro de lectura y escritura, and I'm going to have them reread for a purpose. And that purpose is to find the key details that are going to lead them to that main idea in that section of the text. So pre-built graphic organizer to go along with the one that you've just taught and modeled, right? Students are going to do that. Graphic organizer that is not taken to writing is wasted instructional time. That is the purpose to organizing my thoughts and my ideas, right? They're going to turn the page. Guess what? Opportunity for analytical writing. They're going to utilize that graphic organizer, those notes, those ideas to answer this prompt. En este, ¿cómo emplea el actor diferentes elementos en el texto para explicar las adaptaciones de los animales y cómo estas les ayudan a sostener? Now I'm going to go back into all of those graphic organizers. I've been using information all along the way that's going to aid me in answering this question, right? A couple of things that are built in here for you. So enlace de la gramática, so how you can infuse grammar instruction. Because again, point to grammar instruction is to strengthen a student's writing. So at the point where the students are going to start writing, we make that grammar connection right there at point of use. Hey, they need a little springboard because some of them don't even know where they're going to start writing the answer or response to this. We're giving them what we're going to call sentence starters. Aquí, completa estas oraciones para comentar los elementos del texto. So we're going to give them a little bit of a starting point if they need it, built into these respond to reading pages or responder a la lectura. Talking about comprehension skills, right? So the one that we're doing in this first genre study is main idea, key detail, right? We're going to talk about text features. And so for every genre study, you're going to have a set of data collecting games. So they're going to look a little different. And the differentiator here, when you're looking at them at the platform, it's going to have this little rainbow colored donut. That is going to let you know that that is a data collecting game. So there's going to be a set for each genre study. And so what these are going to provide you with is real-time data on how your students are doing with these skills and these strategies. You'll have available to you something called a data dashboard. This data dashboard is going to pour the results of those games that you've assigned to them so you can guide your instruction, drive your instruction, right, with this data. So va a ser por estudiante, por clase y alineado con la instrucción que está ocurriendo durante ese estudio de género. So it's going to help you per student, per class, group your students. Now you're going to tell me, oh, great, now I know they're deficient. What do I do? Yeah, do I go into a cabinet and try to find a reteaching skill? That's what I used to do, a reteaching lesson. No, guys, this is 2020. So what do we have for you? These links right here, those are actionable links. Those are hyperlinked to these Tier 2 intervention guides. So, si yo necesito una lección para volver a enseñar idea principal y detalles clave, boom, I have it right there. Aquí presiono ese link y me lleva a esa lección en este libro que es el libro de intervención, your Tier 2 Intervention Guides. Así van a tener recursos para la intervención y también van a tener recursos para los estudiantes que tienen nivel avanzado. So, tienen los Tier 2 Intervention Guides aquí hyperlinked, pero también todos los Tier 2 Intervention Guides lo tienen en su Teacher Dashboard. You could download these in their entirety. You'll see in here comprensión, escritura y gramática, fluidez, fonética, vocabulario. So, si necesitan lecciones para volver a enseñar una destreza en particular, van a tener estas guías. So these you could just download at will. Whatever you need, leave them on your desktop, and whenever you need reteaching opportunities, they're going to be there. So you'll have those available to you. So we've been living in this book, guys. We've been living in the Mi Libro de Lectura y Escritura, right? We were teaching, we were modeling skills, strategies for our students using that short piece of complex text of animal adaptations, ¿verdad? Ahora tenemos que darle a los estudiantes oportunidad, ¿no? Para practicar y aplicar lo que enseñé y lo que modelé en el libro de lectura y escritura. Where am I going to do that? So you have an anchor text. This is a hardcover book that you'll be utilizing all week, all year, that has extended pieces of text that are correlated, concept, essential question, vocabulary, to what you did in Mi Libro de Lectura y Escritura. It's brilliant. It is just brilliant. It takes a lot of work, right? It would take a lot of work if you would do this on your own. So, ¿cuál es la historia que van a encontrar en esa antología o lo que le vamos a decir, texto principal? Pues, it's going to be all about arañas, because the arañas, you know what? They have developed some adaptations in order to survive too. So, aquí vas a ver que los estudiantes van a tener una oportunidad para comentar, hablar sobre esta pregunta, ¿no? Es cómo te ayudan las palabras y las frases que incluye el autor para visualizar la manera como la araña se come a su presa. Vamos a comentar, vamos a hablar, vamos a ir y vamos a releer o volver a leer la página 98 de la antología All About the Spider, right? Pero estamos oyendo cuáles son las palabras que el autor usó para poder ayudarnos a visualizar. You could go back, the students could go back and reread, or you could play that portion of the text. Here we go.
Las arañas se alimentan de una manera inusual. No mastican y tragan el alimento como lo haces tú. Ellas lo beben. Primero la araña le clava sus colmillos a la presa y le inyecta un líquido venenoso para que deje de moverse. Luego, gotea jugos digestivos sobre su comida. Esto convierte las vísceras del animal en una sopa para poder sorberlas. Después, todo lo que queda de la presa son pedazos de piel vacíos y algunas alas.
Well, if that didn't paint a picture in your mind, of what was going on, right? That author used amazing descriptive language, right? That descriptive language really allowed us to paint a picture, or as we see here, lo que visualizó. ¿Qué visualizó cuando estabas oyendo estas palabras específicas, no? Que el autor usó para ayudarnos a visualizar cómo esa araña se comía su presa. So here I showed you this as an example because not always the students have to go back and reread, right? You could play because the entire anthology or texto principal is also digitized. So you could play pieces of it, you could showcase it, you could bring it up during your Zoom meeting to show visuals, to show everything that's going on in this antología. So whether the students have it in print or not, especially as we're going back virtually, you have all of this available to you digitally to teach from. En ese texto principal tiene la araña, it's an extended piece of text, que le vamos a decir la main selection, pero también tienen lo que le decimos una lectura complementaria. En este instante, it's called Anansi y los pájaros. So Anansi y los pájaros, that text exists in its entirety in that anthology or in el texto principal. It's all there. What we have done is we've taken an excerpt from that paired selection or la lectura compartida, and we've added it to el libro de lectura y escritura, giving the students an opportunity to kind of and continue to annotate that text. As you see here, we've numbered the paragraphs, making it easier for them to kind of go back and evidence, hey, I found the evidence to that response on paragraph 3, kind of playing the way they're going to be assessed. So aquí tú sabes que Anansi y los pájaros es una fábula, right? It's a fable. Pero tiene la conexión, seguro, de que sigue con las adaptaciones. Te garantizo que Anansi tuvo una adaptación para no dejar que el pájaro se la comiera, right? So that connection will still and continue to be there even through this paired selection. ¿Qué más? Pues mira, que yo soy de mis promesas. Le dije que íbamos a leer, a releer, ya lo hicimos con the shared reading, the anchor text, right? The shared selection. Ahora le dije que íbamos a entregar, hacer esas conexiones entre todo lo que hemos leído, todos esos textos. Pues vamos a ver. Aquí le vamos a pedir que los estudiantes comenten. Observan la foto y la leyenda y vamos a hablar de este dragón que vive en el agua, en el mar, ¿no? Tenemos como comentando, ¿no? ¿Qué es lo que ven? ¿Qué es lo que creen que sostiene este dragón del mar? Vamos a también have cite text evidence. ¿Qué vemos? Y que también hemos leído, ¿no? En otros textos esta semana, estas 2 semanas que lo van a ayudar a escribir sobre este dragón. So, el dragón del mar o dragón marino común vive en las aguas de la costa sur de Australia. Nada alrededor de los the coral reefs, y'all. Este animal se mimetiza, right, con su entorno para protagonizarse. So, essentially it's asking, it lives off the coast of Australia, it lives on the reefs, it camouflages itself, so it's not noticeable around the reefs, right? So, what does it do? What adaptation, right, has the sea dragon established to help them survive in its environment? Remember everything that we've read, right? We read animal adaptation. You had a caribou, you had a skunk, you had an alligator. Then we read about a spider. So all of this is giving the students the knowledge that they're going to need in order to be able to apply it to this new knowledge and this new learning through this multimedia. Oh, I figured I had popped it out because I can't see that good, and now too late, clicked it one too many times. Ayúdase. So here, you're gonna see a little bit, every time the students are gonna be asked to respond to the reading, we're gonna have these little sentence starters for them, right? So if they don't have a place to start, we're gonna give them a little bit of ayuda there. All right, so, vamos a hacer una pausa. No es una pausa comercial, pero sí es una pausa para levantarse, tomar un poco de agua, coger una taza de café. Y en 5 minutos vamos a regresar. Si tienen algún comentario, alguna pregunta, any wonderings, chat box. Porque cuando regrese, Vamos a empezar con un question and answer. It is 1:22, so let's come back at 1:27, all right? So 5-minute little stretch break, water break, coffee break, and we will start with Q&A when we come back. Pues ya estamos de vuelta. 1:27, time to get the party started again. And we're going to get it started with a Q&A. So, yo chequeé el chat antes de irnos al break. No vi nada especialmente para alguna pregunta. No, I think you guys are still wondering about the whole where to access some information district-wide. All right, any questions that you have so far of anything that I've discussed to this point? You could unmute yourself, it's fine. You're either stunned or gifted, one of the two. Give me a thumbs up, y'all. Give me a thumbs up if everything's good and we are ready to go.
Hi, my name
Hola.
is Ana. Hola. Yeah, I think because we haven't been able to log into the account, we didn't have questions. Like the presentation was awesome and it looks like it has lots of resources. I have the same concern that I had, like for it's been just like a big, like I think these texts are a little bit high for our students still. Lots of support tools that we might be able to use, but still, I don't know. I wonder how they're going to do, and I can wait.
No, entendido. Sin duda el texto es bien complejo y especialmente cuando los estudiantes, el español no es el primer idioma. Entendido. Pero vas a tener muchos recursos. Número uno, lo digital lo va a ayudar también mucho porque van a tener esa ayuda y ese soporte de audio, right? Audio support, the lessons are being read, the text is being read. Tienen que pensar que algunas veces van a tener que empezar con el audio, ¿no? Y después poco a poco así los estudiantes van creando y teniendo la destreza suficiente para descodificar o decode el texto, ¿no? Hacia el año. So, no se crean que de momento, los estudiantes van a poder conectarse, accesar este texto, porque sin duda es complejo. Pero como ya tú has visto, África, hay muchos recursos que te van a ayudar a ti y a los estudiantes a accesar ese texto, o que sea, si es nada más que por audio, ¿no? Para entender. Los estudiantes siempre van a tener una comprensión más alta en lo que es el audio que lo que es leyendo, ¿no? So, muchas de las cosas, pero buena pregunta, y cuando vayamos digital, les voy a enseñar también más recursos que tienen para ayudar a sus estudiantes. So very, very valid concern without a doubt about the text that you've seen. Yep, that arañas text was no joke. I get it, I get it. So vamos, dígame. Okay. Writing and language arts. So aquí vamos con la idea que yo sé que ustedes a lo mejor no van a tener mucho tiempo a lo que es esta escritura que le dicen process writing, ¿no? O el proceso de una escritura más larga. Aquí van a ver que día por día, day by day, you're going to have instruction in grammar, la gramática. You have instruction en ortografía, which is your spelling, and desarrollo de vocabulario. Ahí van a ver que no es solamente lo que hemos visto en el libro de lectura y escritura, sino hay lecciones adicionales that are going to help the students with the grammar, with the spelling, and with that expansion of the vocabulary. So day by day lessons, as well as the built-ins that you saw in that reading, writing companion. Let me move my boxes out of the way so you guys can see a little better. So remember I said that reading, writing companion is not, el libro de lectura y escritura, that is not a workbook. It is not. Este es el workbook. Este es el cuaderno de práctica. This is your practice book. This is independent practice. El libro de lectura y escritura is guided instruction, okay? So aquí vas a ver every step of the way for grammar, phonics, spelling, vocabulary, and even handwriting. We'll have practice pages that the students could utilize. Now, el cuaderno de práctica obviously comes imprimido. It's a black line master. You'll get it in one thick book, and it's also all available digitally for you and for your students. So during this digital environment, when you're teaching virtually, you can absolutely bring up these pages and teach from them with your students or to your students. Aquí ven que that process writing, which I don't think you guys are going to get to, these pages are also embedded in mi libro de lectura y escritura. During the genre study, the first one in the unit, week 1 and 2, you're going to be doing the first piece of that process writing. The students are going to be analizando an expert model, they're going to be planificando, they're going to be planning, y van a hacer un draft. La segunda genre study 2, que es semanas 3 y 4, they'll be doing the second part of that extended piece of writing, which is the revision, the editing, the proofing, and then ultimately publishing of the piece. All of these pages that you see here on this page, these are all in el libro de lectura y escritura as we take the students through that entire writing process. Small group instruction, which you guys are probably not going to get to, but I'm going to do my spiel. Van a tener libros por nivel. So los niveles van a ser nivel inicial, a nivel y nivel avanzado. Cada de estos libros, claro, ¿qué estábamos hablando? De las adaptaciones de estos animales. So even at the leveled reader level, aquí están mirando, miras aquí, estrategias y destreza. Caballero, la estrategia era resumir, right? It was summarized. La destreza, idea principal y detalle clave. Here you're seeing it in the leveled reader as well. Look at the vocabulario. It is the same vocabulario that the students have been accessing through all the pieces of text. La pregunta esencial, isn't that what we started? You're seeing it here in the leveled readers. So even at the leveled reader level, and there's a main and a paired selection in this leveled reader, you're going to find that connection, right? Here's the inside of those leveled readers. Y ahí ven cómo vamos diferenciando ese texto por sentence length, sentence variety, additional detailing, facts. But the meat and the potato of these leveled readers remain the same regardless of the level. So the students will have access to the content regardless of their instructional level. So you're seeing that here. There'll be associated lesson plan pages in your TE. Again, I don't know how much you guys are going to be able to toggle into small group instruction, but Africa, if you're having issues with students accessing the text, there's nothing to say that instead of using la antología or el texto principal, you can toggle into a leveled reader because it's going to be in line more with their instructional level. So keep these things in mind. Not only are you going to get those 3 levels, 6 copies in print of each for each genre study, you guys also have available to you a leveled reader database. So this database can be filtered. It's going to give you access of leveled readers from kindergarten to 6th grade. So aquí pongo skill, main idea and key detail. Yo soy una maestra de 4º grado, pero necesito main idea and key detail a 2º grado. Pues aquí pongo main idea and key detail, segundo. I filter it y me da todos los libros por nivel a 2º grado que se prestan para la enseñanza de esa idea principal y los detalles clave. Ahí, después que ya tú haces el filter, you can assign it to any of the students in your classroom digitally. So, endless options, right? All connected. This is the understanding that I want you to kind of leave with, is that with Maravillas and with Wonders, this works the same way. All of this is connected. So it's not isolated or disassociated instruction. The students are going to see that topic or that concept of animal adaptations through various pieces of text, along with the same vocabulary, same essential question, skills, strategy, so that we're really building enduring knowledge. And my goodness, you guys are building enduring knowledge in 2 languages. Amazing. All right. So evaluaciones. So what's up with this? What do we have available to you as far as evaluation, the evaluation process? So in 2nd through 6th grade, part of el libro de lectura y escritura, at a unit basis, you're going to have these. ¿Te acuerdas que la semana 6 era para ampliar, repasar, right? And what was the other one? Ampliar, repasar, and evaluar. Here we go, right? So, ¿cómo son? What do they look like? You have a couple of them at the end of each unit. Uno se llama lo que aprendiste. So this is your repaso. This is todas las destrezas or all the skills that you taught during that unit. There's going to be a spiralized review here for you, right? They're all out here. They're going to be multiple choice type answers for the students. Another thing is going to be ampliar lo que aprendiste, ¿no? Aprendiste esto, los prefijos, ahora los sufijos. So I could extend that, the prefix, now I'm going to add a suffix to it. Aquí, evalúa su progreso. So this is where we were. How confident are you with the instruction that took place in this unit? So these are built-in assessments that are in mi libro de lectura y escritura that you will be utilizing during that week 6 for review. Additional to that, you have evaluación del nivel y diagnóstico. So this is like a placement and diagnostic for you. You have running records, benchmark assessments that is not only going to give you a level for your students, it's also going to let you know, hey, what might they be missing, right? Especially where decoding is concerned. Evaluación de progreso, that's going to be your end of genre assessment, right? More of a summative assessment at the end of that genre that you'll have available to you. All of these assessments are, well, the El Progreso Evaluación is digitized, so it's all already uploaded onto your online assessment center. You can modify these assessments, push them out digitally. Students take them digital, it gets auto-graded, and the results get poured into that data dashboard as well. So it's a one-stop shop for all of your reporting needs. Pues entonces llegamos aquí, que es la demostración digital. All right. So what I'm going to do is y'all going to give me a minute because I'm going to toggle out of my presentation and I'm going to go into the actual digital environment to kind of give you a little taste of what that is looking like. Okay, then new share so that you see where I am and what I'm doing. So aquí estamos. Lo que yo estoy usando es un demo code, so tiene todos los grados. You guys would only see the grade level that you're responsible for. So if you're a 4th grade teacher, you'll have a 4th grade teacher edition and student edition, 5th grade student edition and teacher edition. I'm gonna go into the 4th grade teacher edition because often, like I say, there is a method to my madness. And the method to my madness is that I want to show you the week that I showcased for you during my instructional walkthrough so that you kind of see it now from a digital perspective, okay? So here you have, let me kind of take a gauge. Well, I think for the most part, are all of you new to utilizing the platform? Whether it was Maravillas or whether it was Wonders. New? Okay. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna start from scratch, right? So the platform is very intuitive, I have to say, once you kind of get a hang of it. Here is what I'm gonna call, this is like kind of your home button. So wherever you are on the platform, if you dig into any of this and you get lost, Maravillas is always going to be at the top. So this is always going to take you back to what we're going to call the landing page, okay? These pestañas or these tabs that you see up here, when I hover over them, you see some additional things kind of drop down. So all of these have additional functionality, and I'll talk to you about those in a minute. I'm going to take you through some of those. Here, you're going to see a digitized version of your teacher's edition. So for example, if I want to see what am I doing with this shared reading, ¿Cómo se adoptan los animales? Well, here it is. Here's the digital version of it. Here's what your teacher edition would say, la guía de maestro would say en español y en inglés, okay? So your digitized instruction is here for full group and small group. Aquí tienen sus normas y sus estándares. Aquí tienen sus objetivos de la lección para la lección. La rutina. ¿Hay alguna rutina? Pues claro, leer, releer y entregar. What am I doing? Right here, right? So any instructional routine o lectura de instrucción are always going to be there digitally for you. Pues mira, voy home otra vez. ¿Qué más hay aquí? Pues aquí los juegos semanales, los juegos que le pertenecen a esta semana de enseñanza, lo voy a tener aquí. All right, test, right? Aquí es Data Dashboard. Lo sé porque veo el little donut aquí en varios colores. Aquí sabemos que la unidad semana 4, idea principal, right? Y detalles clave. There's that data collecting name. I am going to tell you that in order to collect data from it, you need to assign it to your students. How do you assign it? Asignar este recurso. Anything that's assignable on the dashboard, you click there, and it's going to take you through the little process of assigning that resource. No, I know that's not what it is, but for our demo purposes, right? El día que lo van a ver, el día que ya lo van a entregar y el día que ya no lo van a ver más. Okay, that's like expiration date. Aquí, si yo estuviera en una clase como ustedes van a tener con estudiantes, todos los estudiantes van a estar aquí. Ahí no a todos, a ningunos o ciertos niveles, porque los estudiantes también van a tener nivel y en un minuto les voy a enseñar cómo adaptan esos niveles. All right, so el entendimiento es que todos estos juegos semanales y todo lo que es el vocabulario, la gramática, ortografía, all of those games are going to be automatically delivered to your student dashboard. With one caveat, your instructional calendar has to be correct. And you're gonna set up an instructional calendar the first time that you log into Maravillas, and I'm gonna show you what that looks like. And I'm also gonna show you everything that I'm showing you digitally here. There's support in your professional learning environment to take you step by step with little modules. It has videos, and it even has downloadable PDFs to show you how to do everything that I'm kind of giving you the flavor of today. Aquí tiene el cuaderno de práctica. So here are all your cuaderno or your practice pages, right? My Adobe isn't working very well, so I'm not going to be able to show you all the functionality, but in a minute, I'll be able to show you through another venue, another way. So all of the practice book pages are here. Do you want to assign it to your students? No problema, right there. Le asignamos los recursos a los estudiantes, le damos instrucción. I just need you to do page 1 and 2 on Monday, page 3 and 4 on Tuesday, right? So on Google Classroom, no problem. You share that right there. All right, so I'm going to take you through these and then I'm going to launch this presentation. So under the plan tab, what do we have? Bueno, organizador semanal. This is your customizable lesson plans, digitized, all right? So when I say customize, what do I mean by that? Well, I mean that if I really don't want to talk about it, as an example, because you're always going to talk about it. If I don't want to talk about it, I come here, I open this up y Conexiones eliminadas. No more, right? Si quiero mover este shared reading para el próximo día, esencialmente, ¿qué es lo que estoy haciendo? Pues estoy moviendo, I'm customizing and I'm modifying that electronic presentation that I'm going to show you in a minute. So all of the digital assets that were accompanying this particular component of the lesson now is going to move from el miércoles to el jueves. Okay? You've done your customization, you could print it. Other thing that I want to show you here is opciones. So you have lecciones esenciales. Those are your core lessons. Those are all the new learning. And then you also have optional lessons. So when I turn this on, you see that some of the lessons became dim. Those are review lessons, reteaching lessons. Ones that remained on or lit were your core instruction. Okay, so you have the ability to do that through that little toggle of core versus optional lessons. So if you only want core, you make it all core, you print it out after you've kind of moved these around as you see fit. Down here you have your estandares. I'm going to come back to calendar in a minute after I show you how to set up your calendar originally. Recursos. This one's super important too. Como dicen mis muchachos, súper importante. Recursos. So, y fui a carpeta de recursos. This is another way that you're going to be able to visualize that electronic presentation that we've put together for you. All of these resources are only for Unit 2, Week 1, Día 1. Si cambio para Día 2, 3, 4, 5, esto cambia también, right? Dependiendo lo que tengo que enseñar. Si voy para la semana 2, obviously that's going to change as well. Pues entonces, ¿cómo puedo modificar esa presentación? Two ways. Here, under recursos y carpeta de recursos, by doing a couple of things, right? I can, as a matter of fact, let me just restore it because I know I've been messing around with it a little bit. So, ¿qué recursos tengo aquí para enseñar? Bueno, pues quiero que los estudiantes atiendan estas adaptaciones en acción primero antes de hacer esta nube de pensamiento. I can move these around as I see fit, as you see here, right? So I can move where they're going to show up. If I don't want something, I could come up here and I could quitarlo de la presentación, all right? I come down here, yo vi este jueguito que me gustó, yo quiero empezar con ese juego este día. Pues lo agarro y lo traigo a la presentación. All right. So, si tienes algún archivo, bueno, voy para la próxima, que es el libro por nivel. Remember that data dashboard, that leveled reader database right here. Aquí puedo la destreza, main idea and key details. Es este de cuarto, pero no necesito en segundo grado. A nivel en segundo grado. Y ahora voy a enviar. Aquí ven los libros por nivel a segundo grado for main idea and key details. De aquí, ¿qué hago? Ya deben de saber, ¿verdad? Asignar este recurso. Como mismo asigné el recurso de data dashboard, the data collecting game, aquí lo puedo hacer con el libro por nivel as well. Mis favoritos, aquí en cualquiera de estos digital assets, if I want to make sure that I could get back to this asset really quick and I don't have to look for it, I click on this button right here, this little star. You see what's happening down here? Adding it to my favorites. So if you want to get to something that you found quickly, you just fill in that little yellow star next to it and you'll be good to go. All right, come back here. Desarrollo profesional. Aquí van a ver a couple of things. Learn to use Maravillas. Quick Start course, modularized for pedagogy. Aquí, Quick Start course, digital. They're gonna take you through a walkthrough of everything that I'm doing. Ustedes saben que soy cubano y yo hablo rápido. La señora que hace estos videos habla bien despacito. So, you'll be good to go there. Setting up your calendar, a digital overview, rostering your students, which is gonna be done for you, by the way. Planning and teaching, and then more resources. So there's a digital quick start course that you'll be able to access under Desarrollo Profesional. Your instructional routines. So índices que le expliqué que tiene de maravilla están aquí. Aquí es las rutinas que le pertenecen a la enseñanza de esas rutinas en Maravillas. Aquí, más digital help. Si necesito trabajar cualquiera de estas pestañas, aquí yo sé que bajo plan está el calendario. Si necesito más ayuda, hago plan y ¿qué? Aquí encuentro ayuda con el calendario. Aquí son, let me do a new share. ¿Están viendo el video? Sometimes when I go to another window, you can't really see it.
The calendar lets you view your lesson plans on a monthly calendar. To access the calendar, click Plan in the navigation banner and select Calendar. Lesson plans are displayed as blocks to show you the teaching schedule.
So esa señora que habla bien despacio is going to do a module that's she's going to have a video for you for everything you could do on this dashboard under Digital Help. Okay? All right, de ahí voy para el centro de evaluaciones en línea. So remember I told you that all of your assessments in Maravillas were all loaded for you. It's still loading, I promise it is. So all of your assessments are here, okay? They're already uploaded and digitized. Aquí voy próximo. Administrar y asignar. Anything that you assign for your students, you'll be able to see it here. It's like kind of like an assignment manager. Aquí bajo detalle de clase es a donde van a encontrar los estudiantes de ustedes. And I'm going to go to Maravillas class 4 because this one actually has a student in it. So si ustedes van a detalles de clase, van a ver sus estudiantes ahí. Importante, ¿no? El nivel de enseñanza. That's how we know what leveled reader to send to the student dashboard. If it's nivel inicial, approaching, on level, or beyond level. That's how we know what to send, right? So you're gonna come and do that here once you have logged into Maravillas for the first time. Ahora, voy a enseñarle. La primera vez que ustedes vayan a Clever, pongan su username and password, and you see the McGraw-Hill icon and you double click on it, and you're gonna see Maravillas there, right? You're gonna click on that icon and it's gonna take you here. It's not gonna take you to the dashboard where I was at. The dashboard where I was at is the premise that you've already set up your calendar, okay? So this is the first thing you're gonna have to do. So you're gonna have your name. It's probably gonna be a drop because we're gonna already establish your class. So I'm gonna say Miss Demo, because I've used all the other names today. So Miss Demo is right here. I'm gonna use the existing McGraw-Hill calendar. Y voy a seguir. Aquí me va a pedir, what is the first day of school? Es el primer día de clase. Yo voy a decir que es el 31 de agosto. All right? So it might be different, whatever first day of school Harrisonburg is going to be. You're going to click that here. And then you're going to say siguiente. ¿Estás seguro que el 31 de agosto es el primer día? Yes, I'm sure. August 31st is the first day. We're going to proceed. Now it's going to say, I know that there are certain pre-selected holidays like New Year's Eve, Martin Luther King, President, Memorial, all of those are already kind of highlighted for you, so you don't have to tell us those. What you need to tell us is, hey, you know what, it's a teacher workday over here, and then there's gonna be one here, and then we give the kids that whole Thanksgiving week off, and for winter break, these are all the days that we're gonna have off, and then come back, we'll have another teacher work day here, and this is spring break. These non-teaching days are different from district to district, right? So you're gonna have your district calendar with you to kind of set this up. Once you have this and you've told us what are your teacher work days, your holidays, spring break, all of that, then we're gonna say guardar. Yep, I'm sure that's what I wanna do, but if you're not, you can go back. So what's happening here is that we have uploaded all of the Maravillas content depending on that calendar. What you said were your teaching versus your non-teaching days. That's how we know what unit, what week, and what day you are on as far as your teaching is concerned, okay? See, if this isn't correct, si no hacen esto correcto, what's getting delivered to the student dashboard no va a estar correcto, right? So life happens. I'm in Florida, so I get hurricanes, and I know you guys get them too, right? So life happens. Yo hice el calendario at the beginning with the information that I knew, but here comes hurricane whatever. So now I need to modify that calendar and add some non-teaching days because we're going to be off a couple of days. Ahora voy al calendario that I have just set up. Y aquí, mira, el primer día de clase was the first day that I said it was. Pero, you know, the hurricane, of course, is gonna mess up every day for us. So here I'm gonna come back and I'm going to add lo que le dicen agregar días de no enseñanza. I've used that word a couple of times, hurricane. Aquí lo que ven is that it starts pushing that instruction to the following day. So it pushes your entire calendar down, okay? So field trips, hurricanes, any minor modifications. If you have a day where, you know what, yo no quiero empezar esta lección aquí, I'm going to extend this, this day 10 one more day. That's going to push everything forward, and look, now everything is aligned. So modification of that calendar, acuérdense, desarrollo profesional, digital help, right? Will help you, guide you through all of those modifications. All right. So I wanted to, en el tiempo que tenemos, well, before I move away from the teacher dashboard, any questions que tienen en el teacher dashboard before I show you the student dashboard? Okay, I'm going to the student. Aquí, this is the student dashboard. So aquí, cualquier tarea, lo que le asignaron a los estudiantes.
Por hacer.
Su trabajo pendiente, sus exámenes, todos van a estar aquí for them to click on. Aquí.
Palabras para aprender. Palabras para aprender.
I wasn't very paciente. So here is going to be the same way that you're going to have it in the presentation to teach the vocabulary. The students are going to have it here as well.
Ancestro.
La rutina de la definición, el ejemplo y la pregunta for all of your vocabulary. Aquí tienen sus juegos.
Juegos.
Que le pertenece a esa semana. I'm not being very patient here. Aquí tienen todo su juego de vocabulario, de las destrezas, las gramáticas, las normas del lenguaje, todo lo que necesitan de lo que es around vocabulary is going to be here. Aquí tienen
lectura.
Las lecturas, so el leveled reader, el libro de lectura y escritura, todo lo tienen aquí para completar digitalmente. Acuérdense que si el calendario no está correcto, lo que va a llegarle al portal de los estudiantes no va a estar correcto tampoco. I was remiss in showing you something which was very, very important, and it was my bad, is this. This is that e-presentation that I showed you that we've put together for you on a daily basis. I'm going to launch this so you see it. So lo primero que voy, oh, you know what? Let me make sure I was in the lesson that's going to make sense to you guys. No. Oh, ¿y tú sabes qué? Que como yo cambié la presentación, it's the wrong thing that's showing up. ¿Y por qué no me está enseñando lo que estoy buscando? All right. Pues ahora sí va a estar correcto. Se trataba de que eso, they've already read, this is not the one that I really wanted to show you. Hold on one second here. Guess what? I'm gonna make some modifications on the spot here because what I really wanted to show you is not coming up for some reason. Ahora sí, como dicen los cubanos. Vamos. All right. Voy. I'm gonna launch that presentation. Tengo que hacer un screen share para que ustedes vean lo que estoy haciendo. If not, I've learned my lesson third session today. All right. So, lo primero que vamos a ver es, this should look familiar.
Adaptaciones. ¿Qué ayuda a un animal a subsistir? Entre las muchas adaptaciones de un animal...
¿Se acuerdan de ese video? Ya lo tengo aquí en mi presentación. ¿Cuál es la próxima cosa que hicimos? Míralo ahí. We were asking the students to comentar, to use that essential question, right? Aquí tengo, pero también tengo tools. So, subsistir, right? It's a very important word for them to understand because that's where all the adaptation is all coming from. So you have pencils, you have ways that you can utilize it. So envision yourself in a Zoom, in a team meeting. You have launched this presentation just like I did. You have your video, you have that page en el libro de lectura y escritura. What else am I going to do? Well, I'm going to the next slide. The next slide, if I need some more building background, it's going to be there.
El pez payaso tiene un envoltorio pegajoso que lo protege del veneno de los tentáculos de la anémona. Esto le permite encontrar refugio dentro de la anémona.
So this is more background building if you need it for your students. Obviously, you didn't have this in print, but you have it now digitally. So digitally, you're going to have a lot more assets that you would have if you didn't. What is the next thing that I'm going to do? Is that el organizador gráfico que yo necesito para enseñar ya va a estar aquí. So aquí puedo ir por el asunto. All right, look, I completed. Vamos a ver que we got this far today. Our time ran out, no hay problema. I'm gonna guardar and this gets saved to your work, all right? What's the next thing we're going to do? There's a grammar page that we're gonna complete. Some more building background opportunities. And this is where I really wanted to get to, which is the reading writing companion digitized. It's gonna come up in a minute and I'm gonna have to do a little bit of clearing here. Boop. Actually, I'm gonna go to another page because I did this one with the previous group. All right, so el reading writing companion or el libro de lectura y escritura, every place that the students could, every place that the students could, it's not, let me. Technology, I love it. I'm gonna launch this again. Vamos a ver si quiere cooperar ahora. Aquí, let me make it big. Any place that the students could write in, if you had it in print, they could type in digitally, okay? You have audio support.
¿Qué harías si vieras a un zorrillo levantar la cola? Si los conocieras, correrías en la dirección opuesta. Los zorrillos tienen un sistema de supervivencia. Pueden rociar a los depredadores con un líquido de olor horrible que producen unas glándulas que tienen debajo de la cola.
So supervivencia is super important, right? That's what they're doing in order to adapt, in order to survive. All of your tools are here. You can highlight the text as you're teaching the students. There is ways to outline as we're doing that text evidence with the students. There is a way to put Post-it notes onto the screen. Tomorrow I come, and there it is. You also have a way of seeing every student's reading writing companion. So aquí van a estar tu clase. I'm going to click on the name, right? El nombre de mi clase, y aquí van a estar todos mis estudiantes. When I click on ese estudiante, it's going to show me their page, their digital page of El Libro de Lectura y Escritura. At this point, I'm going to be able to see how they've answered their questions right into El Libro, as well as they also have a notebook, a digitized notebook. That is not coming up for me right now. Once they submitted that notebook, they answer, this is like kind of to answer those text-dependent questions right on the screen. Let me see if this one's gonna cut for me. It's not. Let me go back. All right, let's see if it's gonna let me know. There we go. So they could write the answer right here, someter, right? You have a digital binder, the students have a digital binder for those kind of responses. The ones that they're doing right onto these pages, you're good to go, because like I showed you, you could access all of your student through this revisar or this review function. So the whole book is digitized. So whether you're doing it in print or whether you're doing it live, you'll be able to do that. I showed you the vocabulary already a little bit and some of the games, your visuals, all kind of there for you. So every day you will have that presentation to teach from, and you will have that presentation to teach from digitally. I didn't want to do that.
Lisa, we had some questions related to that.
Yes.
So
Yes,
one of the
please.
questions is it possible to have more than one class set up so that you can save the work for class A and save the work for class B, since that's typically how we do our dual? In fact, this year they'll have 4 different groups that they're working with because each of those classes will be divided into 2 times a day.
Yep. So when you go, this detalles de clase is super important to do what you want to do. So when you have classes, you can create groups within the class or different classes when you crear una clase. So you could do it from that same teacher environment where you have the original class. You could create additional classes, or you could create subgroups within that class.
Awesome. Thank you.
And then you kind of toggle in between the classes, just like I do here. So you would have all of the classes that you set up here, your original one, plus the ones you set up or any subgroups that you create.
And if you create subgroups, the presentation is going to be different for each group.
So the presentation is going to be this, the presentation will be different if you modify the presentation for that group.
Okay.
You're always going to have the original one that everybody gets, and then you modify it from there.
Okay, and like the same thing with the calendar, like if, like let's say with class A, you don't have time to do whatever lesson, but B and C keep going.
Yep. So you'll be able to, you'll be able to have, every time you bring up that class, when you crear la clase, like I just showed you, it's going to make you do this calendar all over again. So you'll have individual calendars for each student.
Okay, thank you.
Or for each class, I should say. Okay, I know I'm over time because I talk a lot, sorry. I did want to share this with you, and I'm gonna send this to your to Jeremy, to the bilingual department. Is this, I think it's a super important resource for you. It's going to be under carpetas de recursos for you guys. And this is going to show you, this planner gives you a side-by-side with Maravillas and Wonders. What are those things that transfer from one to the other, and what are the things that do not? So
we're not able to see your screen right now. Could you show us?
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh my God, that's the one thing I do not like about Zoom. You got to keep sharing when I go back and forth. So dual language planners is going to give you that side-by-side view between Maravillas and Wonders. What's highlighted are the non-transferable lessons, the lessons that aren't going to transfer from Spanish to English. So Jeremy, I have already downloaded these for you. I will send it up the pike. It's available for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. Grade level specific, day by day, week by week. So you guys have a good launching point on how you're going to do this enseñanza en dos idiomas. So I will certainly send this up the pike for you guys. Remember that a professional learning environment is super important. And as I wrap up our time together, again, muchas gracias por la oportunidad, por el tiempo que me han dado para hablar. Now I'm going to take a break, take some water. I'm available for you. I've been working with your district to ensure that this is an effective and a good implementation of Maravillas and Wonders. So after you go into your digital environment, after you have an opportunity to look at that print and you have some questions, I will be available to support and to continue to provide you implementation support. That being said, thank you so much. Thank you, Jeremy, for the opportunity.
Thank you, and thank you everyone for attending today. Really appreciate this and think that this is going to help us move in directions we want to be moving. So appreciate your partnership in this, and we're very thankful for our wonderful teachers for being here as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Everyone have a wonderful day.